Live from Bryan College Station, welcome to College Volleyball on the SEC Network. As the Aggies look to stay perfect in SEC Conference play, well, the Bulldogs of Mississippi State are hungry for their first win. They want to get on the board. It's A&M versus Mississippi State. Thanks for joining us, everybody. My name is Paul Sunderland. My partner is former player and coach at Mississippi State, Jenny Hazelwood. And look, great to be playing volleyball. The season is going to be abbreviated here in the fall. Just 8 matches for all the teams in the SEC, but really important to remind everybody watching, all of these matches count towards what happens in the spring when we'll name a champion.
And with only 16 at-large bids in the spring championships, at least for now, Texas A&M knows they've got to take care of business in every match if they hope to get one of those if they don't win the SEC outright, so that's pretty important.
Yeah, Texas A&M playing in what is probably the most improved conference around the country. Let's take a look at a couple of the key players to watch tonight.
And for Texas A&M, Trayana Rush is the left-handed opposite who has had her ups and downs this fall semester, but when she gets going, she's really dynamic. A big hitter in the front row. She can really put up a huge block, and she's really an emotional leader for Texas A&M too. She gets pretty fired up, so she's going to be relied on heavily in this one. And on the other side of the net is another studly opposite for Mississippi State, and Gabby Waden at almost 3.3 kills per set. Waden is really outperforming her numbers from last year, hitting for a 328 efficiency, just really having a fantastic early season so far.
And you can see how quickly that Mississippi State wants to play out to the right side. There is third-year head coach Julie Darty-Dennis, previously 4 years as the head coach at Jacksonville. First year was a real struggle in Starksville, 5-26, 13-17 last year. And here is Bird Kuhn, third year as well into the NCAA tournament last year, the reigning SEC Coach of the Year. We are underway, best 3 out of 5 sets, first 4 sets to 25 points. A&M in their home white uniforms. And right on cue, nicely done, swing down the line, and an impressive kill by Mississippi State.
When Mississippi State is out of system, they do try to feed the opposite, especially when Gabby Waden's in. They do run a 6-2, so they have 2 opposites that come in that spot, but Gabby Waden can really score.
Waden, 5'10" junior out of Columbia, South Carolina. And you mentioned her hitting efficiency at 328. That is very, very impressive. Camille Connor, and they were expecting that. Connor, one of the most aggressive setters in the nation offensively. And waiting for her is Jessica Kemp, the 6'3" graduate transfer out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Played initially in college at North Carolina State. And here's the setter, Margaret Dean. Feeding the right side, Waden is dug, and that's going to be a net violation. Pretty solid start by Mississippi State.
And Mississippi State is definitely going after the serving zone where the front row outside hitter would be. Right now, the front row outside is pulled up. They thought that that would be an area they could really attack in that 5-6 seam.
13th meeting all time between these two institutions, and to say that Texas A&M has had the better of it would be a massive understatement. They are 12-0, and through the course of the series, they are 36-3 in sets won and lost. Nice set left side, and tapping down straight over the top of the block is 6'4" sophomore Lauren Davis out of Orlando, Florida.
And Lauren Davis, after a stellar freshman season, has really gotten even better. She sees the game really well, and she's been, she's pretty young. She's a sophomore, but coach felt like she's really improved in just one season.
Yeah, it's going to be a back row block. Margaret Dean, the 5'8" graduate transfer out of Stephen F. Austin, Bedford, Texas, back row setter, and she participated in the block at the net, so an easy play to call. Slide, dug off the top of the tape. Waden again, that ball never cleared, and after a very comfortable looking start, albeit very, very early for Mississippi State, a couple of unforced errors here as they trail Texas A&M 4-2.
And Mississippi State is hanging in and digging balls defensively, but struggling to score on that transition play.
Right side again, you could see the off the block deflection, very nicely done on the back slide.
Gabby Waden, even though she's playing in the opposite, she will run a faster tempo set out of that serve-receive rotation, more like a middle, and that will allow her to get more of a split in the block.
Lauren Myrick back to serve, 6-foot sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky. And that's going to be a point on the unforced error. 4 contacts. In other words, the ball never cleared. And it will go back to Myrick and the Mississippi State Bulldogs at 0-4. They started their season, abbreviated season that we were talking about, lost twice to Arkansas, 3-2, 15-13 in the 5th. They lost that as well, and then they lost to LSU in Baton Rouge. Mallory Talbert, 6'3" junior out of Montgomery, Texas, back to serve and misses that into the top of the tape. Both of the coaches, when we spoke to them on our Zoom calls during the course of the week, and thanks to both, all the coaches around the SEC are so generous with their time and sharing inside information. Both of them really emphasize serving to try to get teams off the net and out of system. Davis again tipping over the top and missed it out of bounds.
And that was a perfect example of getting Texas A&M out of system. The pass was about 10, 11 feet off the net, so pretty predictable that Texas A&M was going to go to the outside, and they got the unforced error.
And that ball drifts just long. That was middle blocker Jessica Kemp missing that. And when you look at the offensive numbers, Morgan Davis, the older sister of Lauren, playing one of the middle blocking positions, Jenny, she's only hitting .481, and Mallory Talbert, who just served, hitting .432. So no wonder you want to get them off the net. Here's Camille Connor serving for the first time, and with a service winner.
And just fantastic numbers by the middles for Texas A&M, and a lot of that has to do with that player right there. Camille Connor, the setter for A&M, is just phenomenal. She really can feed the ball to the middles.
6'1" senior out of Katy, Texas, all SEC last year, and set a single season record for assists on the year, and dials up another service winner against Mississippi State.
And Connor going after that seam between the middle back passer and the left back passer, and she's found success the last few serves, hitting it pretty tough in between those two.
Much better pass. Waden dug down the line. A&M really prides itself, as do all really good and competitive teams, Jenny, on digging a lot of balls, and Bird Kuhn uses a lot of defensive specialists. They keep a lot of balls off the floor and have a very, very good libero in Carly Basham.
They're definitely tough to score on and pretty strong in the blocking category too, so it can be tough to get the ball past the block, and then there are great defenders there.
That's a service receive error. That's one of the toughest places. If you miss a pass into the left front, that's like into the Bungo Straits, and you don't ever want to go to the Bungo Straits.
Especially if it's tight. It can just be tough to even get a hand on that ball.
Yeah, you can shank right side to area 2, if you will. There are a couple players over there, but if you go to area 4, that's not so good. First look at Treyana Rush. Mississippi State ready for that. Rush was absolutely exceptional in her second match against Ole Miss. Match won by Texas A&M 3-0. She was 12 of 23 with no errors, was number 14 in white.
And that was after a slow start in that match. So Treyana Rush had to put up those kind of numbers late in the match, and she was just really impressive. Once she settled in, she was almost unstoppable.
Made the SEC all-freshman team last year and was voted the most improved Aggie by her teammates last year. Perfect contact in transition, but missed out of bounds. We might have a challenge. A challenge system is in effect. Morgan Davis, who doesn't miss many. There will be no challenge. That ball called out of bounds. You can challenge ball in or out, ball off a player, either in the backcourt or at the net violation. Ball into the antenna, 3-meter line violation with a foot fault, or the service line. Oh, that's a play that's got to come up. That's not going to make Coach Kuhn very happy. Carly Basham with a little miscommunication with one of her backcourt mates.
Yeah, it wasn't a very clean swing by Mississippi State. Opposite that's new in the game, McBride, she wasn't really in rhythm and just kind of was trying to keep it in. So an unfortunate miscue for Texas A&M.
And then a gift is returned. I mean, we're not yet to the holiday season, and both teams giving some gifts to their opponents. That shot has absolutely got to come up by Mississippi State.
They may be like the rest of us and just ready for Christmas, but you're right. So just another kind of easy play that's not made by the defenders, and it's happening on both sides. So whoever cleans this up first probably has the edge, at least in this first set.
Broken play. That ball hit out of bounds by Myrick. It's been all about serve and receive for both of these teams early. Julie Darty Dennis mentioned her third year in Starkville, spent 2 years as an assistant at South Carolina, so familiar certainly with the SEC, but this is a different league now. This is a much improved SEC on the volleyball court. Good contact. And then that ball put down out of the middle. That was really one of the first opportunities out of the middle. That was Deja Robinson, 6'1" junior out of Canton, Georgia.
Deja Robinson really has the ability to score, but it all depends on whether or not the first contact for Mississippi State is solid enough for them to set the ball to her.
Trayana Rush once again. Yeah, you made the point. I mean, from the attacking point of view, they're very dependent players. You know how NFL quarterbacks are always taking their offensive linemen out to dinner and buying them fancy watches and everything else? Well, if you're a middle attacker, your best friends have got to be the outside hitters and the DSs, so they get the ball up there so you can get some swings. Maybe in college, no expensive Rolexes, but you get my drift.
That's right.
Good touch by Basham, and then that ball missed out of bounds by Connor.
And Connor, one of the most active setters probably in the country. As a lefty, she can go up and hit like we saw just there. She missed, but she scores pretty often with that. She's actually scores enough, attacks enough to be ranked in the statistical categories for hitting efficiency.
Which I've never seen before. She's hitting .321 on the year, has 21 kills. And that's through 4 matches so far. Texas A&M is 4-0. 2 wins at home over LSU, and then 2 on the road at Ole Miss. Camille Connor and Texas A&M, after this back-to-back series with Mississippi State, will close out their fall season with back-to-backs at Arkansas. Nice swing inside the block. That's a nice play by Cameron Innes, a 6-foot junior transfer out of San Antonio, previously played for the Kansas Jayhawks.
And Cameron Innes had been playing more of a DS role, defensive player going in the back row, and Morgan Christian coming in the front row, but really good job by her to just be ready to play in the front row when her team needs her.
Nice play into the cross court there once again by Merrick. Mississippi State's done a pretty nice job so far, Jenny, defensively. A&M only hitting 0-48, tied at 14. There's not been a timeout so far, so we'll go to the media break when a team reaches 15. Talbert missed her serve the first time through. Boy, that is beautifully done. A rocket rip down the right side. Nice delivery. And then once again, number 8, Gabby Waden getting it done. We'll step aside, just underway. A&M 15-14, and as we thought, Gabby Waden, when she gets the ball in rhythm and quick on the right side, this is a beautiful looking play.
And if Texas A&M misses on their serve and serves the libero for Mississippi State, Lily Gunter, she can really pass. And if Mississippi State has the ability to feed Gabby Waden, then she is going to be able to score. She can hit with range and hit with a lot of power from a very high contact point.
Gabby Waden already 3 of 6 with just 1 error. Remember, she missed that one shot that went into the tape. So we're back underway here at Reed Arena. Beautiful facility in Bryan College Station. Been there an awful lot. Love going to this town. Good pass. And Camille Connor, she's already stopped herself once with a ball hit out of bounds, and a really good read here by the middle for Mississippi State.
And definitely good discipline by Deja Robinson to stay with the attacker, who happens to be the setter. That is her responsibility in that rotation.
I'll tell you, ordinarily, Camille Connor would go up and rip that ball, but Deja Robinson had sort of deterred her, made her change her mind a little bit. Davis is dug, and Mississippi State unable to get a swing in transition, and then ball mishandled by Texas A&M, but still put away. That's a pretty good troubled or difficult swing by Lauren Davis, number 7 in white.
And Lauren Davis just making a heads-up swing as far as location of this ball, knowing that if she just cut it cross-body more down the line, she had a good shot at least taking the setter out. And in that case, Mississippi State setter released early, so nobody was there to dig the ball.
I thought Mississippi State made a good decision to stay down on that particular play, but the backcourt did not adjust. That's a missed opportunity. Right back at you. Nicely done. Margaret Dean giving Camille Connor a little of her own medicine.
And Camille Connor is the one who scores regularly and often against opponents, but so far Mississippi State has done their scouting report on her, and they've been able to slow her down.
Texas A&M hitting only .048, which is way below their season average. Davis once again registers another kill. She now has 4 kills on 8 swings.
And Lauren Davis, just a sophomore, but so solid as an attacker and really has gotten even better since her freshman campaign. So she's someone who really has the ability to do big things in the SEC.
SEC all-freshman team for number 7 Davis. I mentioned out of Orlando, Florida, all 31 matches last year, again all the way into the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament before falling to Wisconsin. Tied at 17, opening set, once again, best 3 out of 5. Texas A&M, perfect 4-0, one of 4 undefeated teams in the fall schedule for the SEC. Mississippi State looking for their first win. Short serve causing some problems. That is a good block touch against Rush, but once again in transition, Bulldogs not getting a swing. And Davis is roofed. Robinson on the outside with some help from number 8, Waden, or was that number 10, Francesca McBride getting in on the action. It was indeed the 6'3" freshman out of Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, in great form. She was fully pressed over the net, so that ball went straight down on A&M's side.
Nice set by Connor. Contorting, delivering the ball nicely to number 22, Morgan Davis.
And earlier in that rally, Connor, with her jump set, was able to get Mississippi State's middle to jump with her. So pretty lucky that A&M didn't get the kill on that first ball, but then you see Morgan Davis coming in and taking care of it, or excuse me, Mallory Talbert on the next swing.
Middle's pretty quiet so far. That's a function of the passing, that ball into the antenna and out of bounds, and back-to-back points now for A&M, who have carved out the 19-18 advantage, and Mississippi State will call an opening set timeout. And sometimes, and you know this full well, Jenny, from your playing and coaching days, you too were a setter. When you play a 5-1, you think, okay, we're going to give up a little offense for having better setting and just one person delivering the ball. But with Connor, it's like they have 3 hitters in all 6 rotations if A&M is passing the ball well.
And the ability to get the opposing blockers to not remember if she's front row or back row sometimes, so she can freeze the middle if she jump sets if they think that she's front row.
Yeah, you have to be constantly aware of where she is in the rotation, front court, back court. Coming back out on the floor after the Mississippi State timeout. Each team allotted 2 team timeouts in each set. Mississippi State had the early lead and now trailing by 1, 19-18. Here is Basham, the 5'8" sophomore libero out of Louisville, Kentucky. Aren't all liberos out of Louisville, Kentucky?
Absolutely.
I mean, how many can they produce, particularly at Assumption High?
I just feel like
deflected out of bounds.
You can just assume that if you see on a college roster a libero from Kentucky, that they played at Assumption. If they ever don't, I'm like, oh, wow, that's an anomaly.
Yeah, there's another volleyball factory in Louisville, Kentucky. Speaking of that Kentucky and Louisville both have done a magnificent job building super strong programs. Kentucky for a while, and then last year, nice block out of the middle, saving the point by Deja Robinson. But Louisville last year had the biggest upset of the NCAA tournament by far, taking out Texas in Austin. Here's Lily Gunter, the 5'8" freshman libero out of Florida. Rush off the edge of the block and out of bounds.
And Mississippi State doing a pretty good job of serving so that Texas A&M can't really feed the middle as much as they would want to. But when you have Trayana Rush able to swing off of the hands of the blockers like that, then they can deal with a pass that's around the 3-meter line when they can set both pins.
Rush is a special talent, the 6'1" sophomore out of Texarkana, but she knows it, and certainly her coach, Berg Kuhn, told us in our Zoom call that Trayana Rush just needs to be much, much more consistent. She did not play well the first night at Ole Miss, came back with a nearly perfect second night, but she's capable of very, very big things and scoring a lot of difficult points.
And the one thing I liked about watching her when she was kind of struggling against Ole Miss is she didn't show it in her body language. I felt like she stayed pretty positive, and you couldn't tell that she was not playing well, and that says a lot about a young player.
Very, very easy serve, and that run nicely on the slide by Talbert. A&M's got some size. Davis and Talbert in the middle at 6'4", 6'3". Lauren Davis, the sophomore outside hitter, at 6'4". This is a stout group that the Aggies put on the floor.
And their setter at 6'1" is Camille
right,
Connor.
Exactly,
That's not short.
Davis having to go off speed, ball a little bit tight, and then a net. Oh wow! They called Texas A&M for violating the plane of the net. Just a little quick with that.
Yeah, I don't know that it probably would have entered the plane. I think Lauren Davis just went too early to go get it. If she'd have just let it come in the plane, I think she could have easily gotten that kill.
If a millimeter of the ball is above the top of the net or in the plane, as you rightly described, then you can go up and get it. That is a break for A&M. On the slide again, and that rattles through by Mallory Talbert. 6'3" junior out of Montgomery, Texas. She too played all 31 matches last year, so an awful lot of experience on the floor now for A&M.
And Mallory Talbert recognizing that she had some space in between the blockers and making sure she hit that space to get the kill.
The big shoes to fill were those of Holland Hands last year, All-American outside hitter. One of the leading attackers in the history of A&M volleyball, both in terms of total kills and percentage and everything else. She was just magnificent as we get to set point. Set point number 1. Aggies got off to a little bit of a slow start, still offensively. Coach Kuhn not going to be happy about it, hitting under 100, well below their season average. Good block, really good block. The middle, Morgan Davis, along with Mallory Talbert, doing a very, very nice job. So A&M settles things down over the, got to play your best volleyball over 20, and that's exactly what Texas A&M did. They take the opening set. 20.
It's just really neat that Texas A&M is doing as much as they are.
Just underway here in the second set. Texas A&M came back to take the opener. 25-21, that ball hit out of bounds. Pretty good swing by Whedon, but a little bit wide. Taylor Voss, outstanding defensive specialist, 5'5" junior out of Corpus Christi. On to serve, wearing number 5 in white. Also played all 31 matches last year. This is an experienced A&M team. Nice swing down the line, scored by Myrick. What did you see at the end of that opening set from Mississippi State that really helped to slow them down?
Well, Mississippi State did struggle a little more in the passing in those stretches, but also just some unforced errors, a tight set that trap set one of the hitters. I mean, it's just that mental focus of doing the skill things right when it gets late in the match.
Talbert misses that ball out of bounds. Number 12 will give you the numbers. Opening set, Texas A&M hit 111. Mississippi State, after a fairly good start behind Whedon, fell way below 100, so they need to straighten that out offensively. Poor pass. Lauren Davis was pretty good, but getting absolutely roofed here. That was not Davis. That was Cameron Ennis on the outside, now just 2 of 9. You mentioned that she played mostly in the back row last weekend against Ole Miss.
Well, Cameron Ennis has got to learn that she can't just full swing at a solid double block
Low
like that.
seam. Low
Not
seam.
good.
Good block deflection. Can Mississippi State take advantage? Not there yet out of the middle. Oh, they get a lucky break. Jessica Kemp, the graduate transfer from North Carolina State, played 30 matches last year, able to get that ball deflected off of Talbert and down on the floor. And just like that, Mississippi State out to the 4-1 lead. That ball off the top of the tape and does just catch a piece of the sideline, so register the kill for Ennis.
Cameron Ennis got a little bit lucky on that swing, because with it hitting the tape, it just went in a position on the court where one of the defenders from Mississippi State couldn't play it. It wasn't a great swing.
One of 2 transfers into Texas A&M this year from KU. Morgan Christian is the other. Free ball here, watch out. I thought that for sure Camille Connor was going to take a rip at that after some frustration in the opening set. Boy, they do like to go right side, even in transition, and that's a really good swing by Gabby Wade. Tough chance, ball coming over the top of her head.
And Mississippi State's making defensive plays, and they're out of system in that transition. They are feeding the ball to Gabby Waden quite a bit, and I mean, that ball was in. Not only was it touched as the call, but it was in. But that was a great out-of-system swing by Gabby Waden. 5
kills on 11 swings. Waden as advertised. Go to her again. Smart shot up into the block, get the offensive rebound, restart the point, but then an unforced error by number 9 on the wing. Callie Mishaw, 5'11" sophomore out of Brandon, Mississippi, missing that. Here's Talbert. Working on Minshew down the line, wearing number 9 in the dark colored jersey for Mississippi State. Quick score off the perimeter once again by Lauren Davis. 6 kills now on 13 swings for number 7.
And Lauren Myrick from Mississippi State got a good touch on that ball, because it was absolutely crushed by Lauren Davis, but just not able to control it enough where they could have a transition play.
Waden, did you get a piece of the sideline? What a good shot. Talk about being out of system and taking a difficult swing. No question about that from Waden.
And Gabby Waden is just hitting with such great range, too, on those out-of-system swings. It's not just all to one specific area, or maybe 2, where she's easier to defend. She's hitting it all over the court.
That was really a difficult swing. And the unforced error here by the DS coming on to serve. Mississippi State going to try to put on as much service pressure as they possibly can throughout the course of this match, and it will cost you some points. You're going to miss some, no question about that. Minshew able to tuck that ball down inside the block and score.
And Callie Minshew playing in the spot where Logan Brown has been playing. No word on why Logan Brown is not available. Minshew did start this match.
Logan Brown been putting up some pretty good numbers. Brown, 6-foot redshirt junior out of Dallas, Texas, transfer from Arkansas. Almost 3 kills per set, had 19 kills against Arkansas, her old school. But so far not in the lineup this evening at Reed Arena in Bryan, College Station, Texas. Tough pass. It just seems like Mississippi State can't sustain. It's like they can't pass 5, 6, 7, 8 balls in a row right on target.
Yeah, Mississippi State will get some good 2 passes, meaning there are 2 attacking options, but then they get aced. So it's not going to lead to a good passing statistic, a passing number, because they're getting those zeros.
Deja Robinson able to get the kill out of the middle. That was Sabrina Sestala who came on to serve for Texas A&M. Mississippi State, just like they did in the opening set, they led it 12-10, 12-11 until Texas A&M took over control, eventually won the opening set 25-21. Serving in the seam and creating a chance. Boy, that is a smart shot from down around what? Shoulder height by Morgan Davis.
Yeah, impressive by Davis too to not lift the ball. She makes sure that she just gets that great quick tip shot into the probably only area that a defender wouldn't have touched it because the set was so low.
Katie Kolomovic could not quite get to that shot. She's wearing number 21 in the dark colored jersey, and once again, just keep feeding the right side. The right side attack, whether it be from McBride or from Whedon, has been very effective so far for Mississippi State.
And that's exactly why Mississippi State goes with the 6-2, where they've got 6 attackers in the front row and 2 setters that rotate in and out in the back row so that they can have that big block and offensive threat on that right pin.
Mississippi State, 7 of 13, hitting 385 so far here in the second set. Texas A&M at 200 so far in the second. Ball is kept alive momentarily. Really nice save by Camille Connor, who went up to save that tight pass.
And Camille Connor is such a special setter because she can do so much offensively, but even there, for a split second, the middle for Mississippi State, Jessica Kemp had to kind of see, is that ball coming tight, and it kind of held her just a little bit, and Camille Connor made the perfect set.
Shank pass, giving up another ace.
And Mississippi State has had their moments where they're passing pretty well, especially that player, Lily Gunter, the libero for Mississippi State, but she's also been aced a few times.
Here is Voss, defensive specialist for the Aggies. Very easy serve, and Gunter responds nicely. And that's a good response all the way around. Gabby Whedon with yet another kill. Whedon, 6 kills now on 13 swings.
And you mentioned it, Paul, the great pass by Mississippi State. After Gunter got aced, she had a perfect pass setting up that play.
That ball served just out of bounds by Lauren Myrick. You walk that fine line, don't you, Jenny? In other words, serving really tough, going for lines, going for seams, and you just, I think, have to live with missing a few more, especially when you're playing a superior opponent. Oh, nice play. That's the second kill that time, dialed up by the setter, Margaret Dean.
And that was a nice pass by Callie Minshew, setting that up. But you're right. I mean, serving tough is really important in getting teams out of system. A team like Texas A&M, I mean, if they're in system, they're going to score a lot. So you've got to find that, tough serve like that, right in the seam, in between two players, make them decide who's going to play it and make the right play on the ball, and that may come with some more misses.
Middle blocker, Kemp back at the line. Into the seam again. Tough chance for A&M to get out of this rotation. Good block touch. But you gotta keep that dig on your side of the net. Boy, that's a very costly error after a pretty good block deflection.
And Jessica Kemp would probably like to have that one back because she usually can control the easier balls like that, even though she's a middle playing in the back row, but she sent that ball way too tight.
Minshew, that ball did not clear, and it was blocked back on to number 9 for Mississippi State, and Texas A&M will take the 1-point advantage. Boy, feels and seems a lot like the opening set. Here's Talbert. That could have been a double contact. Referee letting them play. Right side again, Robinson off the top of the tape and successfully to the floor for the 6'1" junior out of Georgia.
Mississippi State has been wanting to feed the ball more to their middle hitters, and they just haven't always had the first contact clean enough where they could. And you can really see on some of these medium passes, they're not perfect, but the setters from Mississippi State are trying to feed the middle.
Perfect pass, taken overhand in the crossbody on the slide. Beautiful kill by Davis.
And Morgan Davis has just really come on so strong in her senior season, just kind of coming out of nowhere and been an elite attacker, a great blocker. I mean, it's just fun to see her and her sister get to share this last season together.
Saving your best for last. Chance for A&M. And once again, a little paintbrush out of the middle. Doesn't always have to be hard, so Davis with back-to-backs will still be a big part of the show. SEC Nation, supplemented by Aflac, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. I'm Paul Sunderland, back with Jenny Hazelwood. Texas A&M 25-21 in the opening set. And Mississippi State struggling with consistency, hanging around till about the 12 or 13 point, but now they got to play better to 20. And then, of course, play better in that section from 20 to 25.
And it all hinges on the passing. When the passing is there for Mississippi State, they've been pretty effective. So see if they can keep the passing up. And a great serve there by Callie Minshew to tie this one up for Mississippi State. But that consistency's got to come in their passing game as well.
Well, we talked about it during the timeout. Robinson is a nice weapon, or we've already seen Gabby Waden with some spectacular kills. They just need to handle the ball, play together as a team, and get the ball to those particular players as often as they can. Nice pass and another kill by number 22, Davis.
How about the one-handed set by Camille Connor? The pass was maybe a touch tight, and she just goes up and puts up a perfect one-handed set to her middle.
Brianna Rush been a little bit quiet so far in this match. Does Camille Connor need to try to get her some opportunities?
Yeah, a lot of the swings that Rush has been taking has been less than ideal, so not in system but more out of system. So maybe getting her a few more in system swings. Of course, the middles for Texas A&M are fantastic, so you understand why they get set the ball quite a bit. But Rush with only 4 attempts so far in this one.
Well, Talbert and Davis, the middle attackers so far for Texas A&M, have been getting a lot of opportunities. And nothing you like bet more as an outside hitter to get one-on-one. And Brianna Rush will be looking for that, but you'll have to wait a moment. After a little 3-0 run, it is Texas A&M on top 18-15 and a timeout called by the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Morgan Davis, the senior, both out of Orlando. Her younger sister Lauren got most of the headlines last year. Lauren had a phenomenal season, averaged over 2 kills per set, was on the SEC all-freshman team. But this year, older sister is holding up her part of the bargain, putting up huge numbers, hitting 481.
Yeah, great attacker. She's an outstanding blocker as well. So she's really taking care of her job at the net. And it's just really neat to see 2 sisters who've pretty much played their entire career together to have this one last opportunity before Morgan Davis graduates.
Well, and Bert Kuhn is awfully happy as well that Morgan Davis has stepped up her game in her last season, last opportunity in Bryan College Station, because she has been a huge contributor. 2 kills per set, 481 coming in, and also averaging over a block. And the last match that she played at Ole Miss, we were there 10 of 14 with no errors. And so she is doing a wonderful job. And so far on the night, she is 6 of 8 with 1 error. So nearly flawless over the last match and then some.
And Morgan Davis really brings a lot of energy and work ethic to the Texas A&M squad, and you can see it really paying off. As a middle, you've got to work really hard. Work hard in transition, work hard on the block, and Morgan Davis, that's just all she does. That's all she knows. She works really hard, and you can see it paying off in her game.
16 kills, 24 swings, 1 error. The match at Ole Miss, and threw about a set and then some here back at home at Reed Arena. You kind of take those numbers as a teammate or a coach, wouldn't you? Anytime.
Absolutely.
Sistala on to serve. There's going to be a chance. Ball set well off the net. Here is Rush. That is a good swing. Deep, deep near the end line in area 6, and Texas A&M extending their lead.
And those are the kind of swings that Brianna Rush has been having to take, mostly out of system. This ball coming from the backcourt, so a little bit of a tougher swing, but she just makes a nice, smart, high swing to get that kill.
I think Camille Connor heard us. We're talking about getting the ball to Rush a little bit more. Miscommunication there. Should have been, and probably should have been, 4 contacts. And then that ball deflected off the block and out of bounds away from Davis and A&M, and Minshew with the easy, or I shouldn't say easy, but lucky, if you will, kill out of the backcourt.
Callie Minshew, the younger sister of Gardner Minshew, quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I wondered about that. I wondered about that.
From Brandon, Mississippi.
That ball set way too tight, and that's an unforced error. That one is on Camille Connor. Remember the conversation we had with Coach Kuhn? We asked about Camille Connor as a volleyball player, but she still needs to work on becoming more exact and more precise, if you will, a little bit redundant, in her location. Sometimes the ball dies inside.
And that just comes with lots of reps, but also reps of running it at the tempo that you want to run it. So for Texas A&M, they're trying to run a faster tempo offense. The window gets a lot smaller because those hitters are already in motion. They're already headed to where they're expecting the set to be. So it really narrows down the area that Connor's trying to hit.
Here's Basham, the libero, back to serve. That was Ennis with the kill. The lead is 3 at 20-17. Another ball set too tight. Well, this has happened to A&M a little bit. Treyana Rush there, and with Ennis, but that ball's got to come up somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's a number of kills that Mississippi State has gotten off of just two players trying to defend the easy stuff and just kind of hesitating, and then neither of them make a good play on the ball. So, I mean, Texas A&M has probably done that a handful of times in this match.
Yep. That'll be in the next video session for Coach Kuhn. You can guarantee that. But a break for Mississippi State. The question is, can they take advantage? They got to find some consistency. Very easy. Middle of the court serve. Oh, what a better block. That was Kemp with some help from Waden on the outside.
Well, and if Mississippi State is going to do it, it's going to be in this rotation or these rotations where Gabby Waden is in the front row, because she does put up a huge block. And then, of course, Kemp is a big block as well. So pretty fortunate rotational spot right now for Mississippi State.
Morgan Christian on, wearing number 8, the sophomore transfer out of McKinney, Texas. Played 21 matches last year for the Jayhawks. There is Rush, and is able to get that ball off the edge of the block and down. That off of Lauren Myrick, wearing number 18.
And anytime a pin attacker can take some poor passes or out of system sets and get kills. I mean, Treyana Rush has done that so many times already in this match. So it takes a lot of pressure off of the passers to be perfect, because they know they have pin attackers that can score in those situations.
And Voss misses that ball out of bounds. So Morgan Christian, if I'm not mistaken, comes in for Cameron Ennis, who got the start. Ennis was only 4 of 14 with 4 errors, so hit 0. Yeah, loosen it up. If there's a shank pass, the ball's coming to you, number 8. Bulldogs trailing by 1, already down 1-0. Pretty good pass. Like I told you, better get that arm ready. Waden. That is such a good swing. I've been very, very impressed with Gammy Waden, 5'10" junior out of Columbia, South Carolina.
And Mississippi State will run it fast to the pin when they're in system, but Gabby Waden is also very good at that higher set when it's an out-of-system swing and just getting around the block and finding court.
Waden again with some help from Kemp. And so Morgan Christian comes on cold and immediately has to take a couple of swings. And Mississippi State goes on a 3-0 run. Timeout called by Texas A&M. Mississippi State on top 22, don't you think, Jenny?
Yeah, Allie Stumler just does it all. 6 rotation outside. She can really pass, but puts up a really big offensive threat as well. Clearly getting Offensive Player of the Week. Allie Stumler can do it all.
Indy Okamore put into the starting lineup because of an injury to Danielle King, and made pretty good work of it. The freshman out of Texas, the co-defensive player of the week, Gabby Curry. Outstanding libero for the Wildcats. Madison Lilly, one of the top setters in the country, and Taylor Head at Arkansas was the freshman of the week. So congratulations to those fine student athletes for their performance last week. We'll see what they do this week. What have you done for me lately? It's a new week. It's a new day. Mississippi State on top. It's a new game, 22-21 after trailing at about the midway point. And a good timeout taken by Julie Darty Dennis, the third-year head coach, and facing off against the reigning SEC Coach of the Year, Bird Kuhn. There is Darty Dennis.
Yeah, Mississippi State is really going after serving into the 5-6 seam, which is between the middle back passer and the left back passer. And so if they can continue to keep pressure in that position, then they can continue the scoring run.
Zostala steps in with a pretty nice pass, good block deflection. And have no hesitation going right side. And why would they? Waden once again tipping nicely over the top, number 8.
And you know that those out-of-system balls are going to just be sent super high over to Gabby Waden, but Gabby Waden can just go up and take care of the ball.
Good read to Waden again, and off the block and out of bounds. Waden now lighting it up with 9 kills on 16 swings, hitting over 410.
And Gabby Waden's going to force Texas A&M to call another timeout as Mississippi State has set point. But the good defensive read that you mentioned really led to that transition kill by Waden.
Boy, we watched in warm-ups, we watched in the highlight package when we set up Gabby Waden as our players to watch. And Mississippi State is very right side dominant. And why not? Because that's where Waden plays. I'd be setting her every ball I could.
Yeah, Gabby Waden is just a phenomenal athlete. She really has.
Of course, the line was wide open, so she crushed it straight down. But then her use of the entire court, particularly area 1, which is in the right back, she hit it deep into the corner. She hit it sharp into the cross court, now almost down to area 2 by the 3-meter line. Very impressive, and that's given Mississippi State quickly 3 set points. What's happening with the Aggies right now?
Well, Texas A&M has become a little bit predictable in what they're running. So anytime they've gotten a good to medium pass, they've set the middle, and we've seen Camille Connor try to score, but Mississippi State's been all over it. So on a good pass, if Texas A&M will actually set that ball to the outside, I think they can get a kill.
Mississippi State hitting .323 so far in this second set. And that is way above their season average. They're only hitting .178 on the year, so almost doubling up. Perfect pass on the slide to Talbert, not yet. And Minshew is able to get the ball down, so Mississippi State only needed 1 set point to get it even at a set apiece. Nicely done by the visiting Bulldogs.
And Mississippi State did a great job of executing their game plan. Their service pressure kept a lot of that pressure on Texas A&M, and then they played great defense around their block and just took care of the ball. 17 kills in that second set.
Texas A&M at 4-0, one of 4 undefeated teams in the SEC. Trying to stay that way, but the visitors from Starkville, Mississippi State, making it as tough as possible on the tied at a set apiece. Adjustments or areas that Texas A&M needs to tighten up, because they certainly came in as a big favorite over Mississippi State, a team that they have never lost to in the previous 12 meetings.
Texas A&M really kind of got lackadaisical with their passing. So not that they were getting aced a ton, but not really passing all that well up at the net. And then Texas A&M became a little more predictable with who they were going to set. So they've got to pass a little bit better. And then we talked a little bit about some of those just easy balls that were played, kind of off speed by Mississippi State, and Texas A&M just not handling that. I mean, it's happened a handful of times already and through these 2 sets.
Dean, the setter, back to start things off for Mississippi State now. Best 2 out of 3. And going right side once again, and Waden, excellent shot up into the block, deflected out of bounds, and we're underway. Waden now in double figures with 10 kills.
Well, it started with the outstanding dig by Callie Minshew to set up that out-of-system swing by Gabby Waden, who just took another great high swing off the hands of the block.
There's that 5-6 seam serve once again. A chance here off of Rush. And back to Waden. And that ball missed by Connor and out of bounds. And a really good start once again for Waden. And Mississippi State, remember in the second set, they got out to a quick 4-0 lead.
And you just know the ball's going to Gabby Waden in those situations, but she has hit with such range that the Texas A&M defenders just have to be ready for every shot that she's got.
Good delivery, better dig that time by Gunter, the libero. And then that ball deflected off the edge and out of bounds. Lauren Myrick registers the kill, and a very, very good start once again. for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, still looking for their first win.
I really like the libero from Mississippi State, Lily Gunter, the true freshman from Florida. I mean, she is doing some outstanding things. She's a great passer, really solid defender. She's going to have a special career at Mississippi State.
Look at this. There is Gunter once again taking another look. Solid in the receive, and it. Yeah, well, that's the. They didn't retire your number. What is up with that? All right, let's step us to College Station, Texas, with Jenny Hazelwood, former star setter and head coach for Mississippi State, and a very concerned, and I think rightfully so, Bird Kuhn. Another shank pass. Is the serving this good, or is the passing just that bad right now for Texas A&M?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that serve was pretty tough by Mississippi State. It was kind of dropping. It made it a little bit tougher for the libero, Carly Basham, to play it. But you would expect your libero to be able to get in there on that serve that's dropping and at least get a playable ball up.
It was a 5-6 seam. That's between the middle back and the left back, and now a lot of short serving has really put some serve-receive pressure on the offense and the receive of A&M. Still scoreless, 5-0, and make it 6-0. Good work right down the sideline.
Well, Margaret Dean with the heads-up serve, because the passer that was over in that left side bailed pretty early. So there was plenty of room over there for that sideline serve to hit. And, I mean, Mississippi State's really getting after it, but they're making their serves.
We talked about Mississippi State having to really step up their serving game. They have done that and then some. Another unforced error. Mississippi State has missed a few. They've missed 4, but they have 6 aces. You take that any day of the week. And now Bird Kuhn looking for some production off the outside. Another substitution coming on. That is Sierra Hecht, wearing number 17 in white on the outside, and another service winner. Can you believe this? 8-0 Mississippi State. And Bird Kuhn has taken her second timeout.
Get better in their first contact so they can score at a higher rate.
And if you're wondering, the teams will not change sides during the course of this fall season because of COVID precautions. So if you're used to seeing teams go from one side to the other and back again, Triana Rush with her first kill of this, the third set.
And the poor passing didn't allow Camille Connor to even get the ball to Triana Rush. So the first time she gets set, she gets a kill, and that's more of what Texas A&M needed.
That ball tipped out of bounds, and a break for A&M as they try to claw their way out of an 8-0 hole. See number 7 there, Lauren Davis, who is one of the stars in this A&M team, struggling on the outside. So Bird Kuhn has made the substitution to go to Cece Hecht. Nice touch by Gunter. And that's covered, but a stuff block and barely kept alive. Nice work on the outside by A&M as they work hard to try to get back in this. That was Morgan Christian wearing number 8 in white.
You mentioned the nice up by Gunter, and then a great bump set for Mississippi State from Margaret Dean. And it's just one of the rare errors for Gabby Waden in an out-of-system situation.
Gunter, quite an accomplished beach player as well. You saw a little bit of that. Freelancing at the defensive end, just make sure she keeps the ball off the floor. Good time to go to Waden. Waden will run all the way around. Shank pass here, chance for A&M. Look at that, a little bit lucky off the edge of the block that time by Myrick, and Myrick's putting up good numbers. 6 kills now on 16 swings, hitting close to 300, and really doing a nice job supporting Waden with some offense and some point scoring. 9-3 is a surprising advantage, and still working down the sideline. Christian into the cross court, dug perfectly by Gunter, and then Waden A rare stuff against the star from Mississippi State.
Well, and now Texas A&M is well aware that Gabby Waden is pretty much getting any ball they can set over to her. So the blockers are keyed into that and ready to put up a solid double in front of Gabby Waden. And Gabby Waden's been doing a nice job of swinging pretty high, but that time swung a little bit lower.
Yeah, you know it as a former setter. That ball died a little bit inside. Nice play by Kemp. Chase down. What a wonderful chase that time by Carly Basham, but missed out of bounds. Just to finish the thought on Waden, the set from Dean died way inside, and the point you made was exactly right. Waden had been going super high with that same set. She tried to go a little sharper cross court, and Davis got her. Rush ripping into the cross court, and that ball hit out of bounds. So this is the lack of consistency from number 14 in white that Coach Kuhn was talking to us about earlier in the week. Kemp again, big lead for Mississippi State. Rush again, wow. Middle blocker number 5, Kemp, just did not want to get on the floor to go after that ball.
Good awareness by Trayana Rush, knowing, hey, I've got that middle trying to play defense. Let's see if she'll go for this ball. And Jessica Kemp just definitely not ready. No.
Next time. Next time I'll get that one. I got the next one. She's on the floor, though, because she's done a nice job putting some pressure on serving. Mishandled ball by Mississippi State. Waden tipping over the top. Nice touch by Christian. And missed out of bounds in transition.
Well, Christian coming in off the bench and playing, Cameron Ennis was playing 6 rotations, but now Morgan Christian coming in the front row, and a little bit of up and down. That's what we saw at Ole Miss. She had some good moments and then some moments where she struggled. So just trying to find some consistency on her end too.
Well, you know where this one's going. It's going to go right side, but this one to a different target. That missed out of bounds. The swing by Francesca McBride, number 10.
McBride is a young player. She's got good size. She's got good mechanics. She's going to be an outstanding player. She just has to learn how to, make a smart swing if everything's not in rhythm.
Left side looking high flat. That ball missed by Minshew and out of bounds. We still have not had a challenge, and maybe we're going to have one here. There's the green challenge card. You can challenge ball off the block or challenging the no-touch call. And I think you can tell by the body language of Lauren Myrick that call will stand, as will the score. Mississippi State still on top 12-8. London Austin Roark on the floor now, the 6'4" junior out of Weatherford, Texas, wearing number 6 in white. Bird Kuhn has gone deep into her bench looking for a solution to this. Deja Robinson missing connection out of the middle with Dean. Remember, it was 8-0 Mississippi State.
And Mississippi State has had some struggles at times with their setters connecting with the hitters. In this 2-setter offense, the setters are pretty different, but also just trying to find ways to connect a little bit better with the middles, who can really score at a high rate for the Bulldogs and then get good sets to the pins.
Boy, didn't it feel like that was a big break on that missed serve by Ennis?
Yeah, Mississippi State didn't seem like they were really working themselves out of that rotation, and just an unfortunate missed serve by Texas A&M, but they get another unforced error from Mississippi State.
New game, 13-10. Anybody's game now. Put yourself on the Mississippi State side. You were up 8-0. You see it now at 13-10 and got to feel that you've really kind of let this one get away. Perfect pass. And rolling off speed. Hecht finding a little bit of real estate. on her opponent's side, and now it's 13-11.
Mississippi State gets the good pass and serve receive, but can't capitalize and score out of the middle. Another misconnection between the setter and middle Deja Robinson.
Perfect pass. That is nicely done. Boy, a very, very important scoring play on the outside. Lauren Myrick doing a nice job once again, wearing number 18. Myrick, 7 kills on 15 swings, hitting .375. Myrick on the year is hitting .152, having a pretty good night. Got to keep it up if you're Mississippi State. Very easy serve. And then that ball misplayed. It was a tough chance that time for Taylor Voss on the cover. Very nice block on the outside by McBride, along with some help from Kemp in the middle, wearing number 5.
Mississippi State servers still going at that 5-6 seam and having some success in getting at least a medium pass.
The lead back up to 4. Now it's down to 3. That was a pretty decisive play on the slide by Morgan Davis.
Morgan Davis saying, hey, if we get a good pass and the ball comes to me, I'm going to put it away. And I love that she brings extra energy to the court as well. She's not just an outstanding volleyball player, but she really brings a lot of energy and momentum to the court.
Davis now 7 of 11, hitting over .545. Out of the back row. Nice dig that time by Gunter. Rush into the cross court and missed it out of bounds. Treyana Rush now 6 of 15.
With her 3rd attacking error on that play, and Treyana Rush continuing to be streaky, going through stretches where she's so good, and then a couple of errors, whether it's in the block or missing out of bounds. So that's the consistency that she's got to work on according to her coach.
Good read by Gunter. Rush again and missed it out of bounds. Was that ball set way too far inside? Tough chance for Rush?
It was hard to tell from the camera angle we had whether it was set inside. It did look maybe like it was a little bit flat. So when she tried to go and get a good high contact point, the ball was already dropping, and so it looked like she maybe just hit more of the middle of the back of the ball instead of getting on top of it a little bit.
But at the end of the day, you got to find a way to keep that ball in the court. Play out of the middle, covered by Mississippi State. Oh, look at the smart shot. Everything going the way now of Mississippi State. They gave up most of their 8-0 advantage. It got to 13-11. And now you see on a 5-1 run to take the 18-12 advantage. And Gabby Waden with 13 kills on 24 swings.
And Gabby Waden knowing after she played that first ball that she had to get ready to swing because they set her so much in any situation they can. And then just with a heads-up deep tip over the libero for Texas A&M.
Claire Letter on the floor for the first time, and once again, Bird Kuhn. What goes through a coach's mind when seemingly, at least in this set, everything is going wrong?
Well, you pretty much get to where you're like, we've got to, venture back toward the mean. If everything's going bad, at some point, it's got to get a little bit better. But obviously, momentum really matters, and if Texas A&M can just get some momentum back on their side, then they can climb their way back into this one. But Mississippi State seems so comfortable. They're the ones not trying to overdo it, just making plays and making smart shots like that. That was a great set on a pass around 10-foot line.
Absolutely. Dean was straddling the 3-meter line and delivered that ball on a gap perfectly into the middle to Jessica Kemp. The lead is back where we began. It's back at 8. And that ball blocked, but just out of bounds. Strong block on the perimeter that time by Waden and Kemp. Remember, Mississippi State has never beaten Texas A&M.
Morgan Christian, Sabrina Stola check in for the Aggies. Sabrina serves 13-20.
Kemp hitting out on the right side. And Myrick looking for some hands and gets the touch. And her really solid night continues for number 18.
Lauren Myrick, the transfer from Lipscomb, has really done a nice job in this sophomore season, so she's still pretty young, figuring out the SEC level, and she's taken some really good swings, even in some, out of system or not great situations. Claire Jeter, who's in the opposite for Treyana Rush, with the kill there for Texas A&M.
6'3" freshman out of Missouri City, Texas. Very seldom used, at least so far through the first 4 matches. Christian misses it out of bounds, and now the hitting errors are really starting to add up. Looking at Texas A&M, that was their 92nd swing and 23rd hitting error. So 23% of the swings that Texas A&M has taken have either been blocked. Mississippi State has 8 blocks, so that means Texas A&M has hit 15 balls straight out of bounds. Drive a coach crazy. Oh, right through the hands. Good position that time defensively by Myrick, but just missed the play. She'll make that play. Yeah, dry him off. She'll make that play 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, Texas A&M just really shooting themselves in the foot. 9 attacking errors in this set alone.
Wow. Hitting negative, 6 kills, 9 errors. Here is Voss, and a service winner. Still a comfortable lead for Mississippi State. I was looking back through the series history. Mississippi State has never won as many as 2. They've never gone 5 sets against it. They've never won 2 sets in any match they've ever played in the previous 12. Good pass. Christian rolling over the top. Certainly they'll go to Whedon. Whedon about 9 feet off the net and tucks that ball off the Texas A&M block. 2 points away from taking the 2-1 advantage as Gabby Whedon goes to the sideline now with 13 kills.
And Gabby Whedon just continuing to be such a huge offensive threat for Mississippi State when she's in. Of course, now she rotates out, so it's going to be who can get the final few kills for Mississippi State to put this one away.
They've been getting some other production, particularly from Myrick, and doing a pretty nice job blocking with 8 stuffs. And Gunter, the libero, has been very impressive keeping the ball off the floor. That ball off the block, deflected out of bounds, and the score for Morgan Christian and Texas A&M. They need a lot more of that. Still trailing by 6.
Well, Morgan Christian was set just a little bit tight, so she did a nice job of getting her feet to the ball so that she could get that nice high swing off of the hands of the block.
Ennis is on to play defense and serve. Lauren Davis still on the sideline. Star outside hitter for Texas A&M. Good pass. And that ball is going to be dug, but missed by Carly Basham and out of bounds. And now it'll be 7 set points for Minshew and Mississippi State. And that's going to be a double contact. Wow. The wheels have completely come off Texas A&M. Teams will head to the sideline. Boy, shocking here, Jenny Hazelwood, as Mississippi State leads Texas A&M 2-1.
Well, the passing for Texas A&M struggled, but the attacking struggled even more. 8 kills, 9 errors, hit negative in that set, really just handing it to Mississippi State. Mississippi State did a great job serving tough. They played good defense, got some good block touches, and just let Texas A&M make their errors.
And it wasn't all about the 8-0 start. Texas A&M came right back, almost all the way back, to put some pressure on the visiting Bulldogs, but third set.
And just really seemed unfocused in a number of areas of the game. Serve, receive, passing. I mean, Mississippi State put the pressure on them by hitting some good, tough serves, not missing but one serve in the entire second set. So not giving them easy points on missed serves, and then really not taking care of the ball when the pass wasn't perfect, and so an out-of-system swing had to take place. Texas A&M made a lot of unforced errors.
Mississippi State doing an exceptional job, as you've mentioned many times, moving the serve around, targeting that 5-6 seam. They had a lot of success going short. Gabby Waden has been spectacular, getting a lot of help from Lauren Myrick. Minshew has been solid as well, and I really like, and you pointed it out, the play of their fine freshman libero Lily Gunter, the 5'8 freshman out of Oneida, Florida. Taylor Voss, Mississippi State, in their road dark uniforms, and Taylor Voss, defensive specialist, will start things off for Texas A&M in a place they have never been. They have never trailed in a match to Mississippi State. That ball by Waden, off the block and out of bounds. You know who's doing a good job, in my opinion? The setter for Mississippi State. Dean's location, particularly to the right side, has been really good.
Yeah, she and Gabby Waden really connect well, and it's really been a huge benefit to the Bulldogs. An unfortunate play there. Oh, but Texas A&M in the net, because that ball landed on Mississippi State's side.
Yeah, it sure did. Misplayed by Mississippi State, but they'll be the benefactors of a net violation against Morgan Davis, number 22 in white for A&M. I think Lauren Davis is back on. Morgan Christian has stayed out there as well, so the starter's back on the floor for Texas A&M after a lot of lineup changes. Bird Kuhn looking for something. Good block on the outside by Rush.
And Callie Minshew sat out a majority of the preseason practices with a sprained ankle, a pretty severe sprained ankle. So maybe still trying to get her jump and attacking underway, but her passing has been pretty solid in this match.
And it's a tough challenge physically because you're playing back-to-back matches, something a lot of these athletes are not used to doing. And in talking to the coaches around the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12, also a lot of these players, through no fault of their own, came into fall camp not in the best of shape because of COVID, and they just weren't able to put in the kind of time that they would want to get in top physical condition. That ball missed out of bounds by Waden.
And if Mississippi State was the benefactor of a lot of unforced errors for Texas A&M, well, now it's the Bulldogs giving Texas A&M some easy points early in this set.
Yeah, got to buckle down. Both teams now with 24 hitting errors. That's way, way too many. Free ball coming to the Aggies. Christian, and in between area 6 and area 1, nice swing by number 8 Morgan Christian, the 6'1 sophomore transfer out of McKinney, Texas, formerly of Kansas.
And a nice swing on that out-of-system ball, just finding the high seam in between the blocker's hands. And it's a really heads-up play when she was going to have a hard time seeing the block because of where that set was coming from.
See A&M returning the favor now, serving a lot of balls short. Rush. Oh, across the top of the tape and down. A lucky play on the outside that time by Minshew.
And Callie Minshew having to get the start today because Logan Brown is out. From what we understand, she got hit in the head against LSU. So
that can leave a mark. Well, we wish her well. I don't want to make light of it.
Yeah, Taylor Bannister is something special as an attacker. Yep. And so, gosh, that's scary to get hit by her.
Nice dig by Kemp. The middle blocker playing some good defense with a stab. Rush again, and is able to tuck that ball down inside. Number 13, Deja Robinson.
Jessica Kemp with a look what I found defense.
Yeah.
But, just keeping the ball in play. But Texas A&M gets the transition kill.
Camille Connor has been very, very quiet so far on the night. Usually very aggressive at the offensive end. Right on cue, but Gunter is right there. Good read. And then down the line off the edge of the block. Camille Connor tried to get in the book offensively, but Gunter was just too prepared, the libero for Mississippi State.
Well, and speaking of liberos, Texas A&M has made a switch at that position. Number 11, Allison Fields, is now in the libero jersey, trying to get maybe some consistency to their backcourt defense and passing.
Certainly a good pass there, and Talbert is able to register the kill. Mallory Talbert wearing number 12. Been fairly quiet so far on the night. I'll get you her numbers.
And a lot of that's been due to the passing for Texas A&M. Yep. It really hasn't allowed Camille Connor to set the middles as much as she would like, but when they are able to get the ball, both middles for A&M can be deadly.
Unusual for a coach to change liberos. That means your passing is really in disarray, and it certainly was for Texas A&M. We'll see how Allison Fields holds up, the 5'7" junior out of San Antonio. Experienced, we'll talk about that with this Texas A&M team. Played in 30 matches last year, so this is nothing new for her. Wearing the libero jersey maybe, but not new for to be on the court for A&M. Out to the 7-4 advantage, must-win situation. Nice shot that time by Deja Robinson off the top of the block.
Mississippi State runs a little bit of a slower tempo to their middles, and that can kind of help with the setter-middle connection. If they're not having to be so precise, they can just kind of hang it up there and let their athletic middles go get it.
I really like that technique, something that was made famous, if you will, by Jim McLaughlin when he won a national championship at the University of Washington. You just lob it up. It's a slow, quick, so I've sort of dubbed it a slick. And
I like
on
that.
the call the other day, you like that nickname now?
I did, yeah. No, I liked it then, but I was muted, because you were talking. So.
Okay. I got you. Free ball for A&M, leading by just one. Good block touch, scramble in the backcourt, that dug by Minshew. And a better block, wow. It all started with a backcourt defense.
And then the front court defense by true freshman Francesca McBride. Perfect form, pressed over. I mean, she was over as soon as she cleared the net tape. Great form.
Combination not there, but a very lucky kill that time by Mallory Talbert, number 12 in white. Timing not there with her middle attacker on the slide and Camille Connor. I think A&M's feeling a lot of pressure right now, Jenny.
Definitely. I mean, you're the one that has the kind of, you're favored to win this. Obviously, in this fall rankings, not everybody's playing, but ranked pretty high of the teams that are playing right now. Mississippi State hasn't been able to pull out a win. A number of 5-set matches, and they a couple of 4-set losses. So Mississippi State has had their moments, but just haven't been able to put it together for an entire match.
Wonderful cover by the libero Gunter for Mississippi State. Mississippi State's block, although that ball goes down, not the block's fault. Mississippi State's block has been really impactful in this match. 9 stuff blocks for Mississippi State so far. And a timeout is called. 4th set, Mississippi State up 2-1. Mississippi State Bulldogs, the visitors here at Reed Arena, still winless so far in this abbreviated fall season. Deja Robinson again, what a beautiful delivery. And Margaret Dean, as this match has gone along, getting a lot more confident and aggressive with her setting choices.
Yeah, both setters for Mississippi State are doing a nice job, especially when the passes are there. And the Bulldog passing has really settled in this match. It's why Mississippi State is up 2 sets to 1.
Slice in the angle, not there at all. Not close that time for Lauren Davis. And coming out of the timeout, back-to-back points for Mississippi State to get back within 1. Davis so far on the night, 8 of 22. Good play on the slide, ripped off the top of the block. Perfect delivery that time by Camille Connor.
Camille Connor is usually, as a setter, pretty active, but we haven't seen much from her, so she's really just trying to feed the attackers pin to pin in that situation. And now she goes back row, but Camille Connor has been really held well below what she normally does as an attacking setter.
Chance again here. They go away from rush, and Lauren Davis getting very, very lucky off the block deflection by Deja Robinson.
And Lauren Davis really wasn't even able to transition all the way out, so she just kind of gets a little hop. So you're right, pretty lucky to get that off the hands of the blocker, but that's making a smart shot too, not swinging low into the block.
Absolutely, and that was against a very tall target, 6'4", Jessica Kemp. Into the cross-court corner, kind of a broken play, but Texas A&M making something out of nothing to extend their lead. That was Cameron Innes able to put that ball away.
Well, lucky for Texas A&M that Camille Connor set the back row, because Triana Rush looked like she slipped on a little bit of moisture on the floor, so she was not ready to hit.
Nice dig that time by Fields. And I don't know why Texas A&M, Camille Connor is serving Lily Gunter. Been right on target with her passing, and those are pretty easy serves from Camille Connor.
And Lily Gunter is definitely taking care of the ball. I mean, she's been aced, some, but not enough to keep the ball on her. She's been really solid.
Yeah, I would not serve her. I would take another choice, or at least think about it. Nice save out of the middle, one-handed set. Going up in the middle that time once again to Morgan Davis.
And that's Camille Connor again making the great one-handed play. The pass was a little bit tight, so Camille Connor, knowing that she's got to get to it before it gets in the plane of the net because she's back row, and sets up a perfect ball.
Morgan Davis now 9 out of 18. Here is Voss, A&M leading it by 4. Oh, look at Camille Connor. The tip, the crossbody at the net, and now she's hit. That's probably the first kill of her career out of the backcourt. Getting a giggle out of that one.
Especially when she hasn't been able to score offensively from the front row. And so Camille Connor getting her first kill on a back row attack.
Set me in the back row. I got it. Nicely done off the edge of the block and down. Once again for Gabby Waden. Been very impressed with number 8 for Mississippi State.
Yeah, Gabby Waden.
You mentioned to me during one of the commercial timeouts, and excuse me, she had an ACL injury a couple of years ago, come all the way back. She's on the leadership council for Mississippi State. This is a really, really quality college volleyball player.
And it's even more fun when you know that teams are scouting her. They're doing everything they can to be prepared for her and defend her. And Gabby Waden is just not letting it bother her. 16 kills, leads all players in this match, hitting .355.
Mississippi State sets the right side in transition more than any team I've seen in a long, long time. Nice dig. And then that ball hit out of bounds. Mississippi State not going away. Have never beaten Texas A&M, now back within 2.
And Texas A&M with another unforced error. That ball was dug over the net on the first contact by Mississippi State, but the attack error by A&M.
Fields, a nice block at the net. Triana Rush. Fields after the perfect pass, I thought was there for the cover. And now a little mini run by Mississippi State, timeout called by A&M.
And a low swing that time by
number 21 have done an outstanding job. Setting has not always been a strength for Mississippi State so far on the year, but they've been really good so far. The more they set Gabby Waden, the better they look. Nice play on the back quick. Not quite a side, but just behind, and Morgan Davis registering a very important kill to stem the tide for Texas A&M.
And libero Allison Fields with the perfect pass too, setting up that kill from the middle. And Mississippi State, when they were able to win sets 2 and 3, were really able to get A&M out of system and serve receive.
Kemp is able to put that ball away. What a clutch pass that time on a tough serve from Fields of A&M.
Tough serve and then a little bit of a tight pass. So Margaret Dean doing a good job of just getting that ball somewhat up. It was a little low, and Jessica Kemp just really smart swing to keep it in.
Well, the setters for Mississippi State are 5'8" and 5'5" respectively, so that tight pass is a little bit harder for them to deal with than Camille Connor, who comes in at 6'1". Trayana Rush will update you on her numbers. An up and down match so far, 8 kills on 21 swings with 5 errors, hitting 143. Huge upside for number 14 in white. Good pass. Legally taken overhand. A lot of people question that, but as long as the ball doesn't come to a rest, you can double contact that ball and take first contact overhand. That was perfect execution in the kill by Deja Robinson.
And Callie Minshew's passing has been really, really solid throughout this match for Mississippi State, and I think it's a big part of why they've had success.
Good decision on the slide that time by Talbert. Texas A&M, maybe because of the change in the libero, had smoothed things out, at least in terms of serve, receive, and defense. Boy, Bird Kuhn, she looks at the score sheet for this match. You're going, wait a minute, I used all those different lineups? I went way down my roster. Shank pass on an easy serve. Very hittable. What a perfect spinning bump set that time from Margaret Dean.
And Callie Minshew with the poor first contact, but then takes care of cleaning up the out-of-system set with a nice aggressive swing.
Waden leading the way with 17 kills. Deja Robinson with 8. Lauren Myrick with 8 as well. Dug by Fields. Boy, A&M gets nothing out of that. Ball set way too tight to the net. Good hustle by Mississippi State. Ball tight, you got to watch out for Connor. Oh, one-on-one.
And a lot of great defensive plays for Mississippi State, keeping that rally alive, but the one-on-one for Lauren Davis, and she's just absolutely put that ball straight down in the middle of the court.
That was high quality stuff from both teams. Mississippi State got to get out of this rotation. To Davis, no. Out of the back court, no, it is to Davis. Davis again stuck in the middle of the court, a tough chance. Tough chance for number 7 in white, but you got to find a way to keep that ball in play.
And Lauren Davis, you mentioned kind of getting stuck in the court a little bit, but that's where just as an outside you have to work really hard. And then she did call an inside set, but she still didn't transition very much to be able to get a good swing.
Here's Gunter. Oh, a little unlucky that time. 2 players were there defensively, Myrick and Kemp for Mississippi State. Both of them went after it and actually deflected the ball away from their libero, Gunter. A&M must win this set to stay alive. They trail Mississippi State 2-1. A&M won the opening set 25-21. Mississippi State won the second 25-21 and the third 25-17. Connor now in the back court. Good pass by Gunter. And another nice aggressive delivery into the middle to Kemp.
And Mississippi State is really doing a nice job in serve receive between Gunter and Callie Minshew. Really, they've handled a lot of the serve receive passes, and they're keeping Mississippi State where they can run even that higher middle attack on a medium pass.
Overpass here. Right side to Waden. Of course, the ball's going to go to number 8 on the right. Tied at 20.
Gabby Waden continuing to take great swings. I mean, she found the smallest space in between the high hands of those two blockers. Just a really heads-up swing.
18 kills now. Pressure on A&M. Rushes Dove. Look at that play. What a nice delivery into the middle to Jessica Kemp.
Well, Callie Minshew with her 15th dig of the match. And she leads all players in that category, really keeping a lot of plays alive and setting up stuff like that for Mississippi State to score.
The pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Aggies. They're 4-0 so far on the year. And that ball off the edge and out of bounds by Talbot.
Well, Mississippi State in the first set struggled in the 20s, but was really solid to close out the second and third set. Still, I have to think extra pressure on Texas A&M because they have to win this one.
That was Morgan Davis actually wearing number 22. And she leads Texas A&M with 11 kills. I mean, good for her, but that seems odd to me with the outside hitters that A&M has at their disposal for one of their middles to be leading the way. And Mississippi State comes right back to take the 1-point advantage.
Well, and you mentioned the middles, a middle leading the way for Texas A&M, but also when the passing hasn't been that great, so a lot more sets have had to go to the pins. But what a great swing that time by Lauren Myrick to that deep cross-court corner.
Fields doing a nice job. Call her the backup libero, but she is under a lot of pressure, handling a lot of balls. Morgan Davis with yet another kill. She'll go to the sideline and give way. Middle blockers can stay in and serve, certainly, but they can, they either do or they don't, but they're going to go with a DS, or the libero, I should say. The libero comes in for one of the middle blockers. Good pass again. And Kemp able to put the ball away. And now Mississippi State is 2 points away from their first ever win over Texas A&M. 13th meeting all time. Julie Darty-Dennis signaling. Oh, good stab. And straight to the floor, and now it's going to be match points. What a wonderful save in the right back.
Yeah, Lauren Myrick made a fantastic diving save.
Qualifiers and 16 at-larges. Match points for Mississippi State. First things first, serve in, serve tough, but who do you serve?
Well, I think Mississippi State still goes at that 5-6 seam because Morgan Christian is over there having to try to help with passing.
Exactly right, and that's where they go. To Christian, to Trayana Rush. Rush is dug, but just out of bounds. That was a clutch swing by number 14 and a perfect set.
Well, and the clutch pass by Christian. She's not a player that really handles a lot of serve-receive passing. She usually kind of bails in that serve-receive rotation a number of times. So great job to come up with the perfect pass so that Texas A&M stays in this one.
Here's the former libero Basham, at least formerly on the evening. Match point, and down the line. You knew exactly where the ball had to go, and that was just a wonderful choice, wonderful play. And Mississippi State has just made some program history. Their first ever win over Texas A&M.
And the perfect pass again by Callie Minshew. You can't say enough about the passing and the setting for Mississippi State. Really allowed them to run their offense, set a bunch of different players, and Gabby Waden with her 20th kill